All right, everybody, we are back with another Ramp Careers Daily Update. Today, I'm joined by both co-founders, Mitch and Manoj. Guys, Monday. Oh my goodness, how you doing?
Doing well, Danny. How are you?
Doing well, hanging in there. Monday's almost over, so we'll be better in a little bit. So today we want to talk about another sales win from one of the co-founders here at Ramp. We're going to spotlight Mitch today. One of the big wins that he's had in his career. He's had many. He's super talented. He rarely loses deals. Pretty much anything that comes on his plate, he's able to lock in. But this one stands above all the rest. So Mitch, putting you on the spot a little bit, but let's hear about one of your big deals and how it went down.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the praise, Danny. I appreciate it. Let's dive into it. So we'll talk about a company. I'll refrain from saying their name. I think we'll be able to share more details if we don't give away the company name just for non-disclosure reasons. But it's a tech company, high-profile tech company in the Bay Area, doing about $200 million in revenue, high-growth, IPO, tracked company. The win came about, well, let's just back up. So it was a 6-month deal cycle for myself, but an AE previously had lost twice in the account, so they were familiar with our product, but said no, which is good and bad. They had preconceived notions that we had to overcome. We did not have a strong internal champion to begin with. We did not have a strong use case to begin with. We prospected like hell to even break into the company and attach some use cases. We can go into the details there. Ended up with a 5-year, $1.5 million deal that closed at 11:59 p.m., 1 minute to spare at the last day of the quarter to lock it in for Q2. It was a crazy nail biter win. So yeah, let's dive into it.
So the stage is set, right? We've got the inability to close a massive deal for a long-standing period of time at the company. We've got the young gun coming in, all fired up. So walk us through what happened at the beginning. How did you know that this was the deal I wanted to attack? And what did you do to break through the ice where others hadn't been able to break through?
Yeah, great question. So honestly, at the beginning, we didn't know if it was going to be this massive deal or not, right? We knew it was a high profile logo for us. So we approached it like any logo we would, which is just, hey, blank slate. Let's see, what do we know now? And where can we find some areas to dig into to learn more about this company? So with the account, like I said, we lost previously twice. They kind of had a bad taste in their mouth for our company for various reasons. They thought we were expensive. They just kind of pigeonholed us into a single use case. They had an internal tool that they were using today. Their own product actually is was our main competitor. So their own product we were competing against, and they were just using that for all the internal use cases. So we said, okay, there's no way we can just run at this with a cold email, cold call. So our approach to prospecting into the account was just talking to as many folks as possible at kind of like the lower level of the org, honestly. So we were selling an IT related product. So going into IT, talking to any developer that would listen to us, any architect that would listen to us, any IT manager, to just understand what are they doing in a day-to-day, where's the business heading, what's the business trying to achieve. I counted up, we had 60 calls across 2 or 3 months where they were just discovery calls, just piecing together the account. And I think that's what you have to do a lot of times these enterprise accounts is you're just looking for some sort of business value that you can attach to. So we knew we had to find something meaty, something like revenue driven that they'd say, okay, yeah, maybe we should think about this. And that was our whole goal for the first 3 months is just discovery until we had 12 use cases. And we're like, these 12 use cases are pretty solid. And we think we can run at least 6 of these and people will listen to us. We had this arm's length of use cases built up before we even went to any decision makers, before we got in front of anybody that had any control of budgeting or decision-making power. And that's just because we didn't want them to brush us off. We didn't want them to say no and go away again. We had to make it clear that, look, we've done our homework. We have a really strong use case that you should listen to us with. And we thought that would get their attention.
Nice. Okay. So you did meaningful prep work. You developed use cases that were catered to specific individuals at the company that you're trying to attract.
Yep.
Okay. So you throw all of this stuff at them. And then what? What happens right after that?
Right after that, we went into this weird period of demoing and re-demoing and doing more discovery. It was kind of like we're just on this little raft in the middle of the ocean trying to figure out if we're going to sink or swim for the next couple of weeks. So we'd have a strong champion internally and we think we'd run at this use case and we'd go full steam ahead and then it would die. Remind you, this is all in the middle of COVID. So, or that person be let go, or they'd have something come up and pulled onto another project. So we were running and gunning at every use case we could until we really narrowed it down. So I said we had about 12 of those. We found three that were revenue generating, that were going to get the highest look from the CFO and above, all the executives were on board for. And then we were basically going head to head against their own internal tools. They were using their internal tools in not the most efficient way possible, right? They were kind of plugging in their tools because they could, not because it was the best solution. And so we had to go in there and demonstrate how we could work with their tools. So that was our whole message, right? Like, we're not going to compete against something you built, but we're going to work with it, and we can co-inhabitate, I don't even know if that's the word, but co-inhabit this space together. And then B, because we're here, you're going to get X, Y, and Z benefits, and we're going to make you that much better off. So we had to really toe that line of, let's not call our baby ugly, but your baby could be a lot stronger if you did this. If you did it this way.
You should comb your baby's hair and probably dress
it
a little bit nicer.
Yeah, exactly. Comb your baby's hair, put some better clothes on it, and it will be a better baby.
Okay, so this must have been difficult, right? You're in the middle of COVID. There's a lot of back and forth. You don't get to visit this person in person, or this company in person. So how did it feel to be on the other side while you're in that intermediate period of, it might be interested, it might not, am I screwing this up, am I going well?
Yeah, you're right. It's tough because we're used to, for these types of sales, being in person, being on site, having those face-to-face interactions, and you learn so much from those types of conversations. Taking someone out to dinner, taking out to lunch, you can kind of break down the wall of salesperson to prospect and have a real conversation, which is tough when you're just on the phone and you're on the 45-minute Zoom call once a week. So one thing I think we did well is we finally found and developed a champion. So we found somebody internally that was completely on board 100% with what we were trying to do. I wouldn't say the complete power to make the decision, but had enough internal say to push the ball forward and to get folks on calls with us. So we developed the hell out of them, and we got on a texting basis with them. We would be on the phone, 10 to 12 times a week, having conversations, and that person was just internally coaching us, which is exactly where you want to be in one of these types of sales cycles, so that you can get out of a meeting, that person can immediately text you, yes, X, Y, and Z loves it. We got to work on this guy. The CFO, she's a little hesitant, but I think we can get there with the right discounting or whatever it is. Having an inside voice is super helpful. And it's fairly easy to do. Once you find someone that sees the value in your product, you just continue to nurture that relationship. Treat them like a human, treat them like a co-seller, because they're doing what's best for them and the org as well. So there's value. If they know there's value, then you can really start to lean in and trust that person.
That was going to be my next question, was how did you develop that champion? So I'm glad you attacked that one, because it is tricky, right? You don't always know who's going to be the person that's going to vouch for you, how they're going to vouch for you. I think you picked up on some great things there with how you actually develop that person.
And you're right. You need to test them as well, because we thought we had a champion early on that turned out to not be a champion at all. Actually, luckily we realized quickly enough that this person had alternative motives, right? And they were trying to push their own agenda internally, and it was going to go against our ultimate recommendation. So we were able to pivot, find a true champion that did align with our values, and you can trust them. You can test them through trying to get them to push your agenda internally, trying to get them to set up meetings for you internally. They're coming to the table with more ideas on how we can sell better into the account, and they're bringing stuff to you instead of you having to beg for it or ask for it every time. That's in my mind, like the true test of a good champion.
Love hearing that. So was there a moment, or were there moments during the deal where you were thinking, oh man, this isn't going to work? Or was it all green fields all the way to the finish line?
No, I think the first 4 months, I thought maybe something happens at the end of the year, maybe 12 months down the road. The middle months towards the tail end, I got started getting more excited. You can kind of feel when the deal's picking up and you're getting momentum. But the last week was the most stressful deal I've ever been through. So the last week of the cycle, the CFO essentially let us know there's absolutely no budget. Nothing's happening. Everything's on hold. So it was ripped out from under us. We fought and worked and clawed our way back into it. 2 days before the deal, I was supposed to close. Same thing. Nope, not happening. Again, fought and clawed our way back into it. And then really we were blind the last 12 hours. So they were making decisions internally. All we could do was send over our best and final, kind of hoping, at that point we were hoping and praying that something was going to come through. They ended up changing the terms of the deal 4 times on us in the last 3 hours of the night. So 9 p.m. to 12 p.m., we were working with our legal team, our deal desk team to get revisions done to the contract, sending it back to their side for approvals, back and forth. And at that point, we were certain something was going to happen, but it was just, are we going to get credit for it this quarter? Which is, for most sales folks, they'll have kickers for the quarters, ends, and that's what we were trying to do, selfishly get it in that quarter. And it was up in the air if it was going to happen that night or not. Big team win at the end there.
That's awesome. Nice work closing it out. So what were some key takeaways for our audience or for yourself, going forward, that you can draw upon or learn from as you think back on this awesome deal that you worked so hard on and ended up closing out in a productive way?
The biggest takeaway is you got to prospect into the account, whether you think you know it or whether they come inbound. You have to do your work and due diligence and prep work and prospect into the account. The fact that we had those 12 different use cases that we could run at is, in my opinion, the only reason why they even gave us the time of day, because we made the problem so big in their eyes that they would be insane not to listen to us and hear us out. So I'd say that's step one, right? If it's a net new logo or something that you think you know, prospect, talk to as many people as possible, get different perspectives so that you can kind of piece together a puzzle and go in there with the best shot, go in there with the best tailored message to give yourself the best shot to win. So that's kind of step one. Step two is continue tailoring along the way, right? So even after you start to get into the demo process, you may learn more information, continue to develop that message, and make sure you attach it to if you can, something revenue generating. So whether you're selling some back office efficiency play or some sales marketing tool, there's typically a way to tie it to revenue generating initiative. And that's what the CFO or that's what executive leadership is going to want to see. How can this product, this tool help my company make more money? And if not make more money, at least save money. So you need to make sure you tie your value back to one of those things. How can we make this company more money or at least save money? If you do both, great. But so often you see young sales reps going into opportunities and just pitching the benefits of their tool. My tool is going to do X, Y, and Z. My tool is going to do A, B, and C. But you're not tying it back to what that company or that business is trying to do. And in today's day and age, right, you can Google enough about a company to get an idea, and then you can just talk to people in the account, in the company, to learn more and tailor your point of view. So prospect like crazy, and then tailor it back to what the company's trying to achieve, and your message is going to resonate a lot more.
Great learnings. Thanks for that. And what I picked up from your story as well was persistence and perseverance across all avenues where the deal could be worked. You worked tons of angles here. I lost count of them, but inroads to different people at the company, different types of marketing slicks that you had to put together, white papers, case study, looping in champions, looping in key decision makers and executive sponsors all the way through the organization and right up until the wire, dealing with folks, even in the legal department. I think that what I've learned most is persistence you're certainly persistent, but persistence over everything, not just at the final moments of the deal.
Yeah, definitely. I'll echo that 100%. I'll leave you with this. The other thing that we had, kind of like an internal account team motto during the whole cycle, was this acronym PACE, P-A-C-E. Positive attitude changes everything. At 11 p.m. that night, when we were waiting for the deal to come in, I was texting with my manager, and we were just sending back pace to try to keep ourselves sane as we were notably drinking heavily and trying to make it through the night.
I love that. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. Well, Mitch, thanks for sharing that story with us. I know we loved hearing it. I know our audience will love hearing it as well. So lots to learn there. And thank you for that. Lots to learn. A true great story of an epic win on the sales front. So we'll leave you with that for now. So for Mitch and Manoj, I'm Danny, and this has been another Ramp Careers Daily Update. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See ya.